So thank you for coming, and I really want to uh, give you so much value today that you leave here knowing exactly why and how to set up your own email and web-based newsletter. Now, let me share my screen. So I'm not doing slides anymore, but I basically work from a document that I'm going to share with you guys, and which is this, and I'll share this with you at the end of the call. And it's got a bunch of resources in it, which I'll run through. So this is if you want to use Kit, I strongly recommend Kit just because it's so simple and effective, and there's so much more you can do with it than just newsletters. And if you do just want to start with a newsletter, then it's actually free for up to 10,000 subscribers. So it's a great way to get started. This is uh, this one here is the replay from the last workshop that I did, which was about LinkedIn newsletters, which goes kind of hand to hand with this. This is just a custom GPT that I shared on the last one as well. And these are all custom GPTs, and I'll kind of run through these as we go through the session. And that's it, and that's Google Search Console. So I will share all of this with you at the end of the session today. Excuse me. So why do you need to create a newsletter? Well, it's actually more important than ever, especially if you are using LinkedIn for your business, if you rely mainly on LinkedIn, because what's happening on LinkedIn right now is pretty much what happened on Facebook, like, I don't know, 10 or 15 years ago, whenever it was. And it happened on TikTok as well, where basically they entice you to, create content, share your content, give you loads of views, and then slowly they bring in a pay for view model. And you might have seen it, you might have seen the boost feature on LinkedIn, where now when you post, they offer you to basically boost your post to reach more people, and you have to pay for that. So what effect that is having right now is it means everybody's reach is down. What's also going on right now on LinkedIn is that LinkedIn is clamping down, and it's a good thing because they're clamping down on things like pods, fake engagement, automation, automated comments, all kind of things. So they're trying to get rid of all that horrible stuff in your news feed, but they're being pretty ruthless about it. And I know of at least 3 people last week that had their accounts restricted. One of them still hasn't got their account back after a week. So you've got to, you basically when you rely on any social media, actually, you're living on their land, you're renting their land. It's not, you don't own your followers, they own your followers. So it's a really good idea to take your followers from any social media platform and get them on your own email list. And the absolute most effective way of doing it is through having a newsletter. When you give extra value to your audience through a newsletter, they become very loyal to you. Uh, the open rates are much higher, and it's very, very effective. And then you've got this 7-11-4 rule. I'm not sure if it was Daniel Priestley that coined that, but I stole it from him because he was actually my mentor at one point before he got so famous. But he's got this 7-11-4 rule, and that basically means that your buyers, before someone becomes a buyer, becomes ready to buy from you, they need to consume 7 hours of your content on 11 different touch points or occasions across 4 different media type. And once that happens, in their mind, you switch from being an acquaintance to a trusted advisor. So the more ways that you can reach your audience, the better. And like I say, email and web-based newsletters are a great way to do that. It also helps you to nurture your list. So Um, with an email list, everybody tells you you've got to build an email list, right? But they don't tell you what to do with it. And one of the most important things that you can do with it is create a newsletter and deliver the newsletter to your audience because um, you've got to stay in contact with your email list. If you don't, you find that people just forget who you are, right? And that's when they end up subscribing or even reporting you as spam. So it's important that you stay in contact with them at least, minimum once a month that you send out an email, some kind of email, preferably a newsletter. But there's no point in growing your email list and then doing nothing with it. And like I said, this is one of the easiest things to do with it. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Um, and if you're not doing email marketing, that's another kind of thing that you can do with Kit. Then this is the minimum that you should do is a newsletter because it still is a kind of marketing and it still does help grow your business. All right. Now, if you're already creating long form content, it's a no-brainer to turn that content into a newsletter. If you're creating YouTube videos on a YouTube channel, you can take the transcripts from YouTube, download them, run them through. I've got a custom GPT actually, which will help you do it, and turn them into a newsletter article. But it's an absolute no-brainer. Again, the 4-7-11 rule. The more different media type you can hit people with, the better. Okay, and you can repurpose it into a blog article, an email, newsletter, YouTube post, so on and so forth. And when you do it through Kit the way I'm going to show you, not only are you sending out an email newsletter, which I'll do today, but you're also putting it on the web and it becomes searchable. There's a few things that you've got to do to make sure that it is, but uh, it means that you can get found also in Google searches, which is awesome. Um, okay, and yeah, okay. So you have to. I'm going to show you how to do this. You have to use your own domain or a subdomain so that you own the actual sort of internet property where the article is based. I'll show you how to do that. And as long as you use titles, descriptions, and key phrases, things that people would actually type into a Google search, then there is a good chance of you getting found for particular topics. And I'll show you how to use Google Search Console. So Google Search Console is just a tool from Google that helps you get your content indexed quicker, although it can still take a few weeks. But that means that then you can get found on Google. Okay, right. Let me just close this one and that one. Right, so I'm going to walk you through how to set an account. So up in the resources, you've got the link here if you want to do this, and I'll walk you through it now. So I think yeah, I've already got this. So this is where you start. You just click on get started for free. I'm just going to put and say test. I'm just going to do that. All right, I'm just going to say no. Business name. I'm just going to leave it at that. Choose a custom domain. Okay, so this is important. So it gives you a custom domain, but the custom domain is on the Kit domain, which means that you don't actually own it until you set up your own domain. All right, but you do have this temporary domain that you can use, all right, which is good to get started. Let's just do this quickly. Oh, whatever. Which, run my list for now. Okay, right. So the first thing it wants me to do here is create a landing page. I'm not going to do that because it's getting right into sort of, the marketing side of it. What I'm going to do is just set up an email template. Okay. So this is the first thing that I would do. Just go here and you've got this text only template, which actually is fine. Now, there are a bunch of templates. Let me just show you. I'm just going to pick this one. Okay. Um, but there are a bunch of templates. Let me just show you down here that are really fancy. But honestly, I don't recommend any of them because what you want your emails to do is feel personal. Okay. You want them to feel like they're coming from you, and you want a um, consistent theme. So I always just use the very basic one and I put images in as and when I need to. Okay. So I always just use this text only. Right. And you can get rid of this built with Kit if you have the paid version. You can get rid of that. You can do A/B tests, all that kind of thing. All right. So this is basically how to get started. Right. Let me just go back to my list. Hold on. Oops. I'm actually going to do it from here. So I've got this article already written out. Where are we? So, and by the way, all of the instructions, everything that I'm doing in the video is going to be in here as well. Okay. So the first thing you got to do is decide who it's for, obviously, what's the main promise, and how often can you realistically send it. Now, if you can only commit to doing this monthly, just do it monthly. If you're already doing a LinkedIn newsletter, just do it at the same time. It's really, really easy to do that. But commit to something that you can actually maintain. So whatever that is, I do them weekly generally. But it's quite, that takes a few hours of work each week to do that. But I do it with my content creation, so it's not too onerous. All right, that's been done. Add your branding. All right, so I recommend. Oh, sorry, Tejo, I'm just going to put you on mute. That you do what I'm doing here. Write out your article in a document first. Now, you may or may not know this, but it's very important to use the right headings. So if you see here, the style I'm using is H3 for these sort of subheadings. And if I actually click on this, you'll see here, this shows me like the index of the document. And this is really important for Google. If you click here, it's H2. Okay, I don't use H1. And the reason for that is if you're sending this to LinkedIn also, LinkedIn only uses H2 and H3 for some reason. So I use normal text, H2 for a sort of main heading, and H3 for a subheading. And if you use this custom GPT, it will do all of that for you automatically. Now, what this custom GPT does is build you a project inside of ChatGPT that then you can use as your article creator. So it's got instructions, it's programmed on how to do that. And you just upload your own content, upload other people's content, and it will do it for you. There is a video to show you how to do that as well, which I'll put in the resources. So I'm not going to do that because it'll take too long. But basically, it will lay the newsletter article out for you in the right way so that it's searchable on Google and that it works in LinkedIn as well. Okay, so that's that. Yeah. What I always do is create a banner image that I use everywhere. So I use it for the thumbnail, I use it for LinkedIn, and I use it here when, I just use it at the top of the email. And what you want to do, like think of YouTube thumbnails, right? YouTube thumbnails generally have big text with very few words, just to give you a, you know, uh, real. So when you look at it, you know exactly what it's going to give you. Okay. Now with Kit, just make sure that you put the text in the middle. I mean, you know, from left to right, try and keep it in the middle because it actually looks like this when you when it's on your creator profile, which I'll show you in a little while. Okay, so it's important when you're creating the banner to make sure that things don't get chopped off because it will chop both of the sides off. Okay, so use a clear SEO friendly title. Now, when I say SEO friendly title, don't type, you know, well, it says it here, right? Don't type things like thoughts on content because no one would type that into ChatGPT or Google when they're searching for something. Try and make it what they would type in. So, how to create a Kit newsletter as a coach, okay, or set up your LinkedIn profile to generate leads, right? Those are the kind of things that people would actually type into searches. So, that's what I mean when I say title. All right, so I'm going to actually do this now. I'm just going to paste all this in. Just go in here. Quickly show you how to do this. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so you can see it's laid it all out the way I want it to be. It hasn't put the images in there, which is a shame because it does if you do this in a LinkedIn newsletter, but it doesn't do it in Kit. So now I've got to go and add the images, and I literally just do this and click on the image. Um, it's good here. Okay, let's put that image in there, and then I can just go through and check everything, check that all this is laid out properly. Yeah, everything's good. Right, so I'm not going to send this because it's from a test account, but I will send it later from my own account. And then if you click on continue, oh yeah, change the subject line. Okay. And then you would select send as an email. Okay, and you can do some fancy things here with your list and whatnot. Uh, and there's some advanced options as well. And definitely publish to web. Okay. And you can change the thumbnail if you want, but if you don't do that, it will pull in the thumbnail um, from the article, the one that I've already put in there. Okay. So for some reason, I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Let's take a look at this. It's because I haven't actually confirmed my email address. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go back to my own account, my real account, and uh, right, click on new broadcast, text only, paste it in. And it tells me the images weren't created. I'm going to do the same. just come, I'm not going to send this. Okay, publish to web. Okay. Then I've got the option to publish. I'm not going to do it because I've got to put the images and stuff in, but it's basically that easy. And when I click on continue, it will send that out to my whole list and it will put it on my creator profile. And my creator profile, I'll just show you, looks like this. And you can kind of use this as your homepage as well. You could put more stuff in here and fancy images and videos, but you can see this is what it looks like, right? And these are all the previous versions. Okay, so let me just go back here. Oops. All right, so that's how you set the account up and create your first edition. And the banner, we talked about that, SEO. Now, this is important. If you definitely want to get found on Google. That's really, really important. So to do that in the account, let me just go back here. Get out of here. In your account, go to settings, and I'm going to assume you have a domain name. If you don't, then you're going to need to get one. Well, the first thing you've got to do is make sure that you basically got to validate or verify this sending address. Okay, and you can see in my account, I'll show you. I think I have two validated emails. Yeah, so I can either send from adrian@links.coach or hello@links.coach. And verifying them is really easy. You just, it sends you an email and you just click it. Um, do not use a Gmail or a Hotmail or any free address because it will kill your deliverability. Okay. Now, this is also important. You should verify your sending domain. So, for example, I'm just going to pick who can I see? Lee. If it was Lee, and he was, his domain name is leewright.com, then you want to use that as your sending domain. And there's instructions on how to do it here. Basically, you have to, I think you add a record and on your DNS settings. It's a little bit of techie stuff, but it's definitely worth doing that. So then set up your default sending time. It doesn't mean that all your emails are going to go at that time, but like if there is stuff going out automatically, I always set mine to what works best for me, which is 5 p.m. That seems to get the highest open rate. And that would be obviously in my time zone, which can't be bothered to find it, but in here somewhere, whatever. And then you have to put your mailing address in here as well to comply with laws. I think there's really strict laws in California, but in the US in general, and now with GDPR as well. So you do have to put an address in here. I'm not sure I think it can be a PO box, but there has to be a valid address in here, basically. I always switch this on just to find out why people are unsubscribing. And it's up to you if you show these GDPR settings. I personally don't. And even though I should, because I'm in Europe and a lot of my clients and people on my list are, but what I find is this just adds an extra obstacle, and like it brings up this horrible screen. So I switch it off, and I just, when people are opting in, I have a little message there that tells them, basically I'm not going to spam them and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then the other thing that's really important, so that's the email sending domain and your real domain. So for your landing pages and all that kind of stuff, and for your creator profile and your newsletters, you would add your domain here. Okay. Now I've done it from let me show you. I've done mine from a subdomain. So my main domain is linked.coach. but I've just added a subdomain called Go because I still want to have like a main website where people go to and then just have all this stuff on this subdomain. Okay. And it's really easy to set up. It even shows you the records you've got to set up. So it's an A-type record in your DNS settings. I'm not going to get too techy. Basically, you add these 3 records and then it all works. Okay. And it shows me that it's verified. And this is important. If you don't do this, then you're not going to get found on Google. Google will not index your pages and you don't own that property. So it's really, really important. So I know that's a lot I've just thrown at you. Let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay, I know I've just thrown a lot of stuff at you. So right now, are there any questions so far?
Hey, Adrian.
Yes.
I
No.
felt,
Oh,
Phil.
yeah, go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, it was just a quick one to say, I really appreciate you running through that. I was just wondering, I see this, you are recording the session, so are you going to be sharing this? Because I think that would be nice to have that follow through, because I gave up taking notes in the end. I was just like, okay, there's a recording. I hope I'm going to get this. So,
Yeah, you are.
um,
And
fantastic,
it's all in the actual newsletter that I'm going to send out today as well, Adam. So there's
fantastic.
step-by-step instructions. Yeah, no, I probably run through that too quickly. I
That's
just
okay.
wasn't
It was very useful. So definitely something I've been thinking about. So thanks for that.
yeah, no problem.
Hi,
And
Adrian. It's me. Don't know if you remember me. How you doing?
yeah, hi
Thanks,
Tedry.
thanks for all the information that you've shared. It's extremely useful. I did put a question in the chat, trying to find it. Can't remember why I asked. I can't find it in the chat now. Yeah, here it is. So, if you repackage your old content and put them into a newsletter, will it eventually get to the point where that is out of date and irrelevant?
Well, it depends on your content. For me, yes, because I do a lot of stuff about LinkedIn and that changes all the time.
Yeah.
But for example, if you're a coach, then you're actually in a better position because a lot of the stuff that you're probably going to be publishing doesn't go out of date. It's,
Okay.
so yeah, it can, but and that's a little bit of a challenge for me. I do have to
Yeah, a
be
coach
thankful
is
for
just a
that.
part of me. I'm also a data analytics and AI training
Yeah.
provider. So I put in a lot of things about AI and also about LinkedIn as well. So what I also wanted to ask is what is beta testing? Because for me, I'm a programmer, so that I'm looking at beta testing as programming an app. So what does it mean in the context of articles?
Um, I'm not sure. Where did you
You
see
came
that?
up with beta testing when you was on that app. What was it called now? Let me just look at what it's called. I've wrote it down. Um, when you was on, I heard you say beta test.
I don't recall.
Okay, all right, no problem.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah. In addition, right. So you know the article feature that's just come up on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Is it worth using it?
If it's a newsletter, yes. Did you come to the last workshop, did you?
First one.
Okay. Well, in the resources that I'm going to send out, there's a
Yeah,
link to the previous workshop, which is all about that.
brilliant. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm really interested in your paid program because you just give it so much golden nuggets. So the paid one must be even more.
I would like to think so. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Teju. Mo, Coach Mo.
Hi there. How many emails can Kit take in? So if I have an email list for my CRM currently,
Yeah.
tell
So
me a little bit about that.
so if you're on the paid version, it depends on how many you have, the price, scales with the number of emails that you have. But if
Okay.
you want to start for free with the just the newsletter functionality, 10,000. It's pretty generous. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thanks.
Good. You're welcome. Dawn,
Hello.
hello.
My question's linked to the CRM as well. I think I asked it, but when you started talking about when you started scrolling through Kit after you'd pasted your newsletter text, the content, you started scrolling down, and I think there was a section where it talked about to, like as in your the people that you're trying to send it to. So linking back to what Mo's just said, are you having to import people from your CRM into Kit, or is it I got confused there as
Yeah.
to
So
where it's
if
going.
you've already got an email list, you can just import that straight into Kit.
Right.
It's pretty straightforward. Generally, all platforms have a way of exporting to a CSV file and then importing, so it's pretty straightforward. I used to use ActiveCampaign, which is very, very powerful, flexible, does everything, but it's so complicated. It's overkill. So I got rid of it, and it's expensive as well. And I just did, in fact, I think Kit has a tool. Yeah, it does. It has a tool in there that connects to all of the big CRMs and just imports everything for you.
Right.
So it's really straightforward. But if not, you can export to a CSV file and just import.
So I guess the second part of that question was, I'm on a version of Go High Levels. I'm sure most people are.
Yeah.
What is the advantage of using Kit rather than doing an email newsletter from Go High
So
Level?
so Go High Level, I've used Go High Level as well, and it is horrendously complex. It's very powerful, does everything, but it's horrendously complex.
Yeah, I can
It's
testament to that.
it's also designed for agencies who do cold outreach. So your email deliverability will frankly be awful with Go High Level, and they
Right.
don't really talk about it. But I've experienced it firsthand, and I've seen other people go through the same problem. My email deliverability, I switched from ActiveCampaign to Go High Level, and it went from like probably a 50% open rate down to 12% with Go High
Mm,
Level. So
okay.
that means that it doesn't mean that less people want to open their emails. It just means that they're going straight to spam. But
Yes.
when you set up a tool to monitor, there's tools to monitor this stuff. There's a Warmy, another one called Warm Up Inbox that I use that actually shows you where everything's going and it measures it. You should also use Google Postmaster. And what happens with Go High Level is they basically, you share the IP address with all the other users of Go High Level. And even if you pay for a dedicated one, for some reason it still circulates, it still goes around, and they end up on blacklists basically. And if you get put on a blacklist, it's not good. So
No.
so that's the main reason why I don't use it. But also with Kit, and I don't use this yet on Kit, but you can have other people recommend your newsletter, and you can recommend other people. So it's another way to grow also through Kit. So that's
Sure.
another advantage to doing it. And for me, yeah, just being able to it's just easy. Kit is really, really easy, and Go High Level is the opposite of easy.
Uh, I mean, I'm already using it, and I feel like I've gone through the pain. Well, there's always pain, but um, I do agree, and I wouldn't recommend a new person to go high
Yeah.
level because it's too complex. But I'm also wondering, because I've started a newsletter and I want to switch it up a little bit on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So are you saying that it's better to do it from Kit or both?
It's up to you. I mean, if you've already got Go High Level, well, the first thing I would say is if you've got Go High Level, don't use what's that mail thing called a connector, mail connector or something like that. Lead connector. Don't use lead connector. Don't
Okay.
use the mail service they provide. Use either Mailgun or SendGrid in the background and connect it.
Mel, go
Again,
what? Sorry.
or SendGrid. They're like raw email but it's horrifically complex to set that up as well.
Oh God,
I'm afraid.
I
You
need
probably
to lie
get
down
help.
after this.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go high levels is yeah, it's a headache. But if
Okay.
you've already got go high level and you're paying for it, that's kind of I would probably just stay there and figure it out if you have the patience. I don't. Life's too
Why am
short.
I grey?
Yeah, me too. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for those answers.
You're welcome. Yvonne, I'm going to get to you in a second. I just wanted to quickly share. I know Teju touched on this, but if you are interested in getting some help from me, there are actually a few ways that I can help you. And in my program, I have a program, but there are other things as well. If you want to learn how to do all this stuff yourself, optimize your LinkedIn profile, create content that generates leads, how to reach out and DM people without coming across as spammy, and actually building relationships, and then how to do all this stuff, build your back end email system, how to, if you want to run workshops like these, how to do that, how to create, run and fill them, and a ton more stuff, then that's all included in my program. But there are other things that I do and will be pushing harder in 2026. And apart from the program, if you want this stuff built for you, then my team and I can do that for you. There are limited spaces, obviously, because it requires time for us to do that. And also, if you want to build a system that my team can run for you, like basically put a employee into your business to create your content, post it, do all the interaction, handle most of the outreach and the conversation, because not only are they trained to do that, but I have custom GPTs to do all this stuff and create this this stuff in your voice, basically. So that's another option. That is in beta right now. That's beta testing, Teju. So it's very, very limited. I can only work with a very small number of people on that right now. And if you're interested in just cherry picking what you need, we can do one-to-one customized stuff as well. So there is a link in the resources document that I'll send if you're interested in any of that. So, okay, sorry about that. That was my little advertising piece. Yvonne, what was your question?
Hello, hopefully a fairly simple one, and thank you for your generosity in sharing all this information. I found it very helpful.
You're welcome.
I'm in the UK at the start of thinking about sending out a newsletter. Is there any restriction on just moving all my email contents onto contacts onto a newsletter distribution list? Will I get into trouble GDPR wise?
It depends where those contacts are from.
Okay.
If they're people that have opted in at some point, then no, you won't get in trouble. If you haven't been very active with that list, though, what you'll find is if you move them, or even if you don't, if you suddenly start emailing them, a lot of people are going to be like, who's this? They'll have forgotten who are, and they'll unsubscribe, which will hurt a little bit. But if they report you as spam, it will hurt a lot. So you've got to be mindful of that. And whenever I've done this, I always, because I used to work with Tina, and Tina's doing something different, and we both obviously create that list together. So we both had to sort of send that first email to say, hey, this is what's happening. If you've forgotten, this is who I am. Just give them a little bit of a say, please, if you don't want to hear from me, just opt out. It's absolutely fine. Click the button here. So if you're going to do it, I'd recommend doing it like that, Yvonne.
Yeah. So an introductory email to everyone saying, I am beginning to send out an email, a newsletter, but please, if you want to opt out, then there'll be a button on the newsletter.
Just remind them that they did opt in, and just remind them who you are.
I've not done any outreach. This would just purely be through people on LinkedIn or people that I have worked with previously.
Well, if they haven't opted in, I'd be really careful about that. I probably, if I were you, I'd send the email from wherever your CRM is now, send an email to them and say, hey, this is the barn, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be, creating an email newsletter that will do this, this, and this, high value, and then ask them if they want to, you can do it two ways. Ask them if they want to opt out there and then, or ask them if they want to opt in to the new one.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
I have been registered to so many people's newsletters without being asked if I wanted to opt
Yeah,
in.
because there is dodgy automation that will do that straight from LinkedIn. I get it all the time. Like, you connect with people and all of a sudden you start get this random email. It's not a good thing to do. It's really not, because it will just hurt your email deliverability and you'll just be flagged as a spammer. And especially if you're using the kit domain, they can actually kick you off. They'll shut your account down if you're using subscribers that haven't opted in. So be
Great,
careful with
very
that.
helpful. Thank you.
Lee.
Hello, mate. Thank you for this and for the last one as well. Always good information comes from you, sir. So I'm right at the start of my setting up an email list situation. For me personally, I don't read emails, so I'm under the assumption nobody's going to read any from me. I'm not bothered. I've got other things to do. So that's my position. You've kind of looked at my question already. On a scale of 1 to 10, and considering that I don't like tech and tech doesn't like me, how easy is this to set up?
The reason I chose this is because for me, this is the easiest platform.
Okay.
And I've tested numerous email platforms, and this is by far the easiest. And I know there's other platforms like Substack and Beehive. I did try Beehive, but it wasn't intuitive enough for me. And my thinking was, well, I want it to be easy for myself, but also, if I'm going to train my clients, I want it to be easy for them. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9.
Okay.
For ease of use.
In terms of with 10 being the easiest. Okay. Because I had a horrible experience with Zoho where it took me 2, maybe 3 days to set myself up there. But then when I found it wasn't working, it took a good 6 weeks and a numerous amount of kind of like complaint emails to get myself completely removed from the system.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I probably shot myself in the foot because I asked ChatGPT to guide me on how to do it. So I'm sure that took a wrong turn somewhere. But yeah, once bitten, twice shy. So I want this to be nice and easy. But if you guys are doing something in the background that you've got to offer that can support in that, then maybe I should be looking at that as well.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's absolutely. If you want to, book a call. We can talk about that, Lee. But yeah,
thank you.
And my, even if I do set all this stuff up for people, my view is, well, I don't want people to have to rely on me. So, if they want to take it and run it on their own, by all means, go and do that, and that's why I want to make sure it's the easiest thing possible to operate.
Appreciate your age. Cheers, man.
No worries. Caro.
Hello.
Hello. Hola.
Hola. I just wanted to make sure if I understood well. The newsletter content will be available in my own domain in public if I choose.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
And
that's the way you become searchable.
exactly. And I would definitely do that. Yeah, definitely do that, because the more searchable you are, the more places you are, the better. More is more when it comes to this.
Is there a function? So if, let's say, someone is not in my newsletter, but they searched some content and they found me, and then, so can you just, I don't know, lead these people to subscribe to the newsletter then in that domain?
Yes.
Like a pop or something like that, or just a message somewhere?
Yeah, so you can use it as your website. You can actually use Kit as your website and just have your, when I showed you my creator profile, did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could have that as your homepage, and the first thing they see, you can put whatever you want on there, but the first thing they'll see is subscribe to my newsletter. Now, just having people subscribe to your newsletter unless you're like, Justin Welsh and you've got a million followers on LinkedIn. It's kind of hard. It's a hard sell just getting people to subscribe to your newsletter.
Yeah.
Now, but if you're offering things like lead magnets, which, I'll probably do that in another session
Okay.
where show you how to set up lead magnets and how easy it is. I mean, I can show you. I've set a bunch of them up. I'll just show you quickly. So here, you've got landing pages and forms, and this is a much better way. So this is like a chat, GPT, and all these different things here, and this is the workshop registration. So this is, unfortunately, this doesn't show. This is bad information because it shows how many people are hitting the page, but if you register multiple times, so this is probably actually about 50%. But anyway, so all these different things are kind of lead magnets for people to opt into, and when they do, they opt in for something of value, but they automatically go on to the newsletter email list then, so it's just even more value. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So yeah, you don't have to build like an extra platform for your content. Like your newsletter lives in your domain, and then that way you're searchable.
Yeah.
But let's say you want to share something that you wrote in the past, and the people can refer to your domain.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and even if you do have your website, you can embed parts of this on your website. So your create a profile, for example, that has all the newsletter editions in there. You can embed that on your website, so it just looks like it's on your website anyway.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This is really valuable information. I'm wondering if you have a recommendation on a CRM. I'm trying Pipedrive, but I'm also finding it quite complex, and I'm already using Kit. What do you like?
What do you need it for? What do you need it to do?
I want to know, especially in the sales process, especially in the beginning of somebody comes in for a discovery call. I want to keep track of, did I send them a proposal? Did they open the proposal? How long's it been? If someone subscribed and they said they were going to book a call, but they didn't. So I'm just more on the sales process, and then be able to go back to people that are in different categories to say this, segment the list. So maybe I can do a lot of that through Kit.
Yeah, you can. Kit's not very visual in that way. It will show you, it will show you lead by lead what people have done and the history and all that kind of stuff. But I know what you're saying. Like I prefer like a Kanban list, and
Yeah, me too.
yeah, and actually, I'd use something like Trello, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And then you can just do what stage. So when I'm chatting with people on LinkedIn that are potential leads, I use a tool called Condo, and that enables me to do that.
You used what?
I use a tool called Condo. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can pull it up and just show you quickly. Share my screen. So I use this, but this is only for LinkedIn, right? It's not for anything else. So I have these. This is Condo. So this is all my LinkedIn conversations, and when I connect with new people, I'm waiting for them to reply. I'm qualifying people there. I've invited people to a call booked, and so on. So I have these stages that kind of works like a CRM, if that makes sense. And that's what I use for, but it only works for LinkedIn. It's not for, for emails and that kind of stuff. So, but if you really want something to track everybody, I'd use Trello.
Okay. I might ask you more about that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Teju. You got your hand up?
Sorry, yeah, I just went to get some water. Put something in your mouth. Once again. Yeah. So I have a Wix account. I've paid for 3 years. It does everything I need. Why would I need Kit?
Does it handle your email and newsletters?
Everything, marketing campaigns, everything. It takes money. It takes money when I'm sleeping. Everything. It sells my book. Everything it does.
Then you don't need Kit.
Okay, it does my coaching discovery calls. It does my subscriptions, everything, and I've paid for 3 years. And with me, if I've got lots of different systems, I get confused. And if I'm paying for those lots of different systems, I'm just finding it difficult to synchronize. Could possibly be a symptom of ADHD, but it freaks me out just having lots of things. So I'm wondering whether I can still continue the way I am, which works nicely.
If you're happy with it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what I would say. You don't need Kit. Kit's what I use because it's, for me, I've tested pretty much everything. It's absolutely the easiest. But I'm not saying that everybody's got to use this at all. And if you've got a tool that works for you, Teju, and you're familiar with it, and why learn something new? I mean, there are advantages to Kit. Like the other creators on there recommending you and growing a list quicker, all that kind of stuff. But is it worth the pain of learning something new? Probably not.
I don't mind learning something new if it's going to benefit me, but I think I don't need it because everything is in the Wix website and it works really, really well.
Yep, I would stick with that then if I were you. Cool. Janine.
Hi there. This is my first time attending this today. I'm a career coach. I don't do life coach, but these are for coaches, right?
What do you mean, Janine? Sorry, say that again.
Is this meeting is for coaches to scale their business?
This is for anybody, coaches, anyone who, I work primarily with LinkedIn. This goes hand in hand with LinkedIn. This is just something that I'm recommending that you do on the back. But yeah, if you're a career coach, yes, this is for you.
Okay, this is what I learned in this. I stick with the like and trust aspect, and I have an audience, and they mostly are career seekers and job seekers, right? So what I've done in these last few years was build content around everything. And I use Flowdesk for my email marketing. I tried to use Kit because I'm grandfathered in with Flowdesk because they just changed their pricing. But I still think they're affordable than Kit at this moment with their tier pricing. And if I have a lot of women in my audience, I have more women. So Flowdesk seems to be more aesthetic for me with my email branding and design and stuff like that. I'm trying to leverage LinkedIn on the business to business side because I have worked with companies through LinkedIn where they reached out to me through the LinkedIn for the CRM situation with that. I'm currently testing kitchen.co. They work for digital designers and content creators. It works for anybody that's offering virtual services in any type of industry.
What's the question, Janine?
My question is, I would like to leverage LinkedIn where to get more work with business owners to do business to business is what I'm looking for LinkedIn for.
Okay.
Yes. What tools do you suggest for that?
LinkedIn, you have to build your profile, you have to be creating content, you have to have an outreach strategy, you have to have a follow-up strategy, all that stuff. So there's a lot to it, Janine.
Okay.
If you're interested in how I could help you with that, book all. It's in the. I'll put the. I actually didn't drop that in there earlier. I'll drop it in the Give me a second.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm gonna lower my hand. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just drop the booking link in the chat.
Okay, great.
Should have done that earlier, sorry. Okay, and Teresa.
Hi, Adrian. Could Teju tell us whatever she talked about that is working for her?
Wix, go to wix.com and there's various packages. Just like if you have the e-commerce package, it does a lot for you. But make sure you get the right ones because you don't want to pay too much money and it's more than what you need. But
Thank you.
They're very useful. If you can try and have a conversation with them, they can tell you what is going to be useful for what you're going to do. And also always try and haggle them down because that works.
Okay, I'm just going through see if there's any more questions. I don't think there is. And that means we might finish on time. So does anybody else have any questions? Oh, I know what I did as well. I'm going to share the resource document with you now. Let me just grab that. And drop that in there. Okay, so all of the information is in there. I will send the replay probably today or over the weekend. Thank you. I know this one was quite technical. I promise the next one will be less technical. Thank you everybody for joining. If there's no more questions, then
I have a quick question.
Resource, I get it from the chat.
Sorry, Rachel, say it again. I'll get to you in a second.
No problem. You've been talking about, booking calls, and then you have this program in the beta phase. And I've seen a lot of emails and stuff going by. Can you give an idea of your fees so that we know?
It just depends on what you need. It's not. It depends on what you need. So if you want to know, and if you're interested, book a call, Rachel. We can talk about your situation and what might be right for you. But there's so much that I can offer you. I don't have a price list available, I'm afraid. But just book a call if you're interested. Okay.
Okay.
I just saw a couple of people say they can't access it. Sorry, I just changed the permissions, so you should be able to access it now. Sorry about that. Okay. Any more questions? Then thank you everybody for attending, and I hope you got value from it. And like I said, I will send out the replay. Have a great weekend, and maybe see you at another one sometime soon.
You too, Adrian. Thank you very much for sharing this with us. Really much appreciated.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.